Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint is basically the story that slowly reveals something very uncomfortable about Kim Dokja. He doesn't just hate the Starstream because it's cruel. He hates it because it reflects him. At the start, Dokja keeps calling the Constellations monsters, voyeurs, and bored cosmic idiots who enjoy watching people suffer like it's some kind of entertainment show. To him, the Starstream is a system built on turning pain, death, and tragedy into content for viewers. And honestly, yeah, he's not wrong. But the problem is, Dokja slowly realizes he's been doing something very similar for a long time. Before the scenarios even started, Dokja survived his depressing, lonely life by reading Yu Jungyuk's story. For 3,149 chapters, he watched Yu Jungyuk suffer again and again. Death after death, regression after regression, loss after loss, and every time, Dokja kept reading. Not because he enjoyed it in a twisted way, but because it gave him something to hold onto in his own empty life. That's where the problem starts. Because the Constellations consume stories for entertainment, Dokja consumes stories to survive. Different reason, same action, same system. Then ORV hits him with the most ancient dream reveal, and things get way worse. The Starstream works on one rule: a story only exists because someone reads it. And Dokja realizes something terrifying. The world he hated, the system he cursed, the tragedies he wanted to destroy, all of it was being sustained by him, by his mind, by his imagination, by his loneliness. The ruined world wasn't just something he got trapped in, it was something he helped create without even realizing it. Yeah, that's a pretty nasty realization. At this point, Dokja's hatred for the Starstream starts looking less like justice and more like self-hatred with extra steps. Because the system he hates is basically a reflection of him. And it gets even worse when you connect it to how he acts. For most of the story, Dokja doesn't fully treat the world as real. He treats it like a novel, like something he already knows the ending of. That's why he judges people so quickly. Take Kim Namwoon. Dokja doesn't see him as a real person at first. He sees him as a bad character in a story. Someone disposable. Someone written to be hated. Which is exactly what the Constellations do too. They turn people into roles, into entertainment, into content. So yeah, not much difference there. Even the fourth wall reflects this problem. People think it's just a cool ability, but it's really just emotional distance turned into a power system. It protects Dokja from fear, pain, and trauma, but it also blocks him from fully connecting with people. He can watch suffering without fully feeling it, like a reader watching a screen. And Dokja doesn't stop there. He also manipulates people constantly. He lies, hides information, and moves his companions like pieces in a plan only he understands. Because in his mind, he already knows the story, so he thinks he knows what's best for everyone. Which, yeah, is kinda messed up. This is why his title, Enemy of the Story, actually fits too well. The system exposes him as a villain, not just randomly, but by using his own past against him. They show how in early scenarios, he stayed on the sidelines while people died, calculating coin gains and outcomes instead of acting immediately. They paint him as a sly, cowardly person who only intervenes when it benefits him. And the uncomfortable part? That version of him isn't completely fake. The Starstream is basically forcing him to see himself the way the system sees him, and he doesn't like what he sees. In the end, Dokja's hatred for the Starstream becomes something more personal. It becomes a fight against himself. He refuses the system's conclusion because he refuses the idea that sacrifice and loss are necessary for a story to exist. But the irony is that this is exactly the kind of story he used to read and depend on. So his final goal becomes creating a single story where nobody is lost. A world where even a reader who spent his whole life consuming tragedies can still imagine an ending where things don't fall apart. And yeah, that's basically Kim Dokja in a nutshell. A guy who hated the system, because deep down, it was built from pieces of himself. If you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe for more, because sometimes the darkest stories aren't about monsters, they're about readers.